What is happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and we're talking a little bit of transfer news. Somebody in the chat said, "Good afternoon, KG. Hope you're well, and I hope we're getting good news from you today." Well, it's subjective, isn't it? For some people, it's good, like me. For other people, it's bad. But listen, I think it's good news. We got a report on Willy Gnonto and his immediate future, but we've also got comments from Daniel Farke to discuss, and also Illan Meslier that I want to get into as well. Because for me, with the comments that they're making, there should be no excuses this season, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Before I get started, please like, subscribe, comment, and listen. Thank you to all existing members. Thank you to Bill, who's become a new member of the channel. Thank you so much, Bill. And if you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description, or it's next to the subscribe button, and it's called join. Richard in the house, afternoon to you, man. Danny in the house, yeah, please hit a like on the video. Yep. Sean saying good morning, though. That's tremendous, Sean. Well, it's good afternoon here, Sean, but good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And I hope everyone is feeling good. And more importantly, in heat like this, smelling good. All right. SSJW saying afternoon, KG title looks promising. Yeah, I think so. Listen, we'll get into a bit of a discussion about that in a bit. But for me, everything about it is just promising in terms of that club going away, because we know they've got the biggest interest, but also more importantly, our own ownership, who are saying, no, if you want these players, we expect top dollar, or what we think they're valued at. So yeah, there's a lot of things promising, but obviously there's still over a month left of the transfer window. So it's not over. It's not over. So we can't just go to sleep and think we're going to keep these players. But it's a good sign for me. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. Guy, wasn't this supposed to start at 3:50, or have I gone mad? Listen, I said it for 3:50, but I gone live at 3:30. That's why I'm saying. Listen, I'll set it for that time, but usually I'm early. You know, if you're on time, you're late. You know, one of those kind of things. But now you haven't gone mad, Guy. I've gone earlier than I thought. That's what she said. Actually, no, that's not what she ever said. All right. NZO saying hi, KGI. Oh yeah, listen, man. Brian saying big fan of your channel. Appreciate that, Brian. Thank you so much. And Ash in the house as well. What's Chris saying? KG's come to work with us. Welcome, KG. What? Oh, are you at work, Chris? I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. Michael here saying about Jorginho, might be best to not put a price on him. If he's sold, there's not a replacement. Yeah. Well, listen, there's no murmurs about Jorginho, not that I've seen from credible people, Michael. So until there is, like there was with that Brighton bid, I wouldn't think about Jorginho going. And like I've already said, in regards to Jorginho in one of the new videos, if he leaves, that's prime meme material for other people. Because he said in the yellow shirt, I want to score loads of goals for Leeds in the shirt. And if he leaves, we're going to get bantered. It's going to be ugly as well. It's going to be ugly. Wilf in the house. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to everyone. Jack saying one player that isn't replaceable, and that is Jorginho. Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is? I get that a lot. You know, people ask that a lot. In terms of who would you rather keep, Jorginho and Somerville? And it's not a question I want to entertain, because quite frankly, I want to keep both. You know, and I'm not in a position where I'm ever going to be held at gunpoint saying you either get to keep Somerville or Jorginho, choose one now. You know, it's never going to happen. So I don't need to answer the question. My answer to that is I want both, because they are both at this level, and going on to Premier League, they're game changers. So I want both of the players. And that will always be my answer, people. I know that's not fun. That's not how Would You Rather goes, but we ain't playing Would You Rather like the horror movie. Yeah, this is just regular YouTube stuff, man. Fans talking to fans. You know what I'm saying? And Chris, I mean, just this as well. I'd actually take Sarah over Rudd. I mean, that's crazy, Chris. Not for me, not in this lifetime. Other people can chime in if they want. Would you take Sarah over Jorginho? I absolutely wouldn't. I think Sarah would be a good complement in the team. But yeah, listen, the reason why I didn't speak about Sarah in the last video, people, is it's not a legit source. I'm sorry, but I won't speak about, you know, those kind of targets when they come from certain places. It's just not going to happen, people. So unless, and by the way, even in regards to someone like Sarah, just taking his name for instance, if we are getting him, it means we are losing a big hitter. You know, we are not getting Sarah to add to everything that we've got. It would be Sarah in, and then it's one of these big guys out. It wouldn't be in addition to. So that's why I didn't talk about it, man. NZO saying, nice to hear the 49ers holding tight to the internal valuation of players. About time we had this, as it always seemed to get rinsed for our players. 100% NZO. You know, and you'll always see 49ers get stick from fans of our own fans. But they've been brilliant, man. they've been brilliant in terms of what they've done so far. Yes, the players that were surplus or were looking to move on, they've moved at maybe a discounted rate or just, the best deal possible to get them out temporarily. But other than that, when it comes to our big boys, we've held firm. And this goes back to last summer with Gnonto. Even when he went on strike, advised by his agent, they said, nah, no, we're going to work it out. And we did work it out. And you look at Gnonto at the minute, people in the training videos, training pictures. I mean, he's heavily starred, by the way. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but Gnonto is front and center of nearly every single training video. It's absolutely crazy. It's like a Gnonto prop machine right now. Now, whether that's to put him in the shop window or whether it's just to highlight how happy he is at Leeds United, time will tell with that, won't it? But he is front and center of every single video, and they all look great in training. There's another one out there today. Once again, go on the Leeds United official channels, and you'll see him again having fun in training. But yeah, vibes seem to be immaculate, as I've said before. Yeah, he does look happy, Sean. And the thing is, he has been happy. The whole incident of last summer, he was badly advised, and some people just can't let it go. But he has shown no signs of, tapping out, even with the latest news that we're about to read now. I don't think it's going to matter to him like it would have done last summer. I think that he'll get on with things. He'll be professional. He's had his wobble, and I don't think Gnonto will ever do that in his career again. I don't. And if he does, come back to this video and say what he's saying. But he made a mistake, badly advised, and he since changed his agent, and that should tell you something within itself. Andy saying we're not going to entertain the price they want for Sarr in this league. Yeah, and that's it as well, Andy. Listen, Norwich reportedly want between 15 and more. I've heard recently 20, right? So if we are going anywhere near that number, and I mean anywhere near, it would be a Somerville leaving. There is no way we are spending 20 million. I said it a few videos ago, by the way. With Lubicic, we're going for a 4 million midfielder to complement the squad. Why do people think that we are all of a sudden just going to spend 20 million on a play without losing someone? We do not have infinite money. More importantly, the rules won't allow us to do that in this league. It's just impossible. But I could honestly just using Sarah's name. If you're losing to Somerville and you get to keep a Gnonto, then it makes all the sense to put Gnonto back out on the left and use Sarah as your 10 without trying to replace Somerville. Because honestly, for anyone that comes in for Somerville, it's a long day for them. They're going to have so much to live up to that it's probably just worth sticking Gnonto out on the left, whoever that replacement is in the 10, keeping Jorginho on the wing as well. And look at the options you've got there. Dan James is still there to play. Yeah, we're good, people. We're good. Yeah, Paul saying Gnonto would have gone last summer under the old regime. Fair play to the 49ers. Exactly, Paul. They deserve so much credit. And Daniel Farke too for the way he handled that. I give him the full credit last year. But when you look back at it, just well played by everyone involved, really. Aaron, oh, this was another one as well, Aaron. Someone asked this, wonder what the price on Morgan Whitaker is. Listen, as far as I know, Aaron, and this is just the latest I'd heard, he is staying at Plymouth for this season. It wouldn't surprise me if he does go, because obviously he does have interest in him. He's a very good player, but apparently the plan is to keep him with Wayne Rooney at Plymouth this season. That's the latest I heard with Morgan Whitaker. Okay, JT here. If Korean Gnonto leave, we'll have to pay premium for replacements, and this is it. And you know what, JT, we're going to come back to this one. Let me just start that one, and we'll come back to that. But listen, let me just get the latest news in regards to this. And yes, and we still have Brendan Aronson as well, who can also operate off the left, right, and central. Exactly, Andy. Yeah. Jack Talbot here, who is very good with the Everton news. I'll give him full credit. He was one of the first to talk about Jack Harrison having interest, Everton being interested in him. I think he broke the Gnonto news as well last year too. But Jack Talbot has given us an update this morning saying that also told Everton's move for Gnonto is at stalemate. Club not willing to meet Leeds' valuation and will move on to other targets. And listen, we'll leave it there because the rest is to do with Everton. But all I'll say with that as well is that it wouldn't surprise me. Everton are out the picture at the minute, but let's just say they move on to other targets who are maybe 5-7 million cheaper than Gnonto. If they think, wait a minute, is it worth us getting this player, or shall we just pay that extra for our number one target? Maybe they could circle the block. That could happen. But as we speak today, people, on the 29th of July, and I notice a few news people are doing that now in terms of, date stamping what they've said, because things change all the time in football. We know that. But as of today, Everton are out. And we know that Everton were the clear number ones for Willy Gnonto. And I'm saying this, if we get to keep Willy Gnonto, that will be a huge asset to keep at this football club because like Somerville people, like Jorginho, they should be at a high level. And that, I don't think that's up for debate. But if we get to keep them, they are game changers in this division. Um, Enzio saying here, the lad seems to be having fun, KG. Makes a big difference to the squad. Great to see. Can't see the Sarah move happening at all as they will hold out just like us with our top players. Yeah. Listen, we're not speaking about Sarah in this because it's not a legit source that reported it. So, but yeah, the lads seem to be happy. But more importantly, people, we've seen the lads be happy in other pre-seasons, but they were poor players. The plus for me is that they are happy, but they are talented players that we've got at the football club. That's the big difference between. This is why, in the past, long-term subscribers of mine will know I don't really take notice of training pictures and all that stuff because it doesn't interest me. Or maybe it was just the players that we had before where I'm like, why I want to see these guys training when what we get served on the pitch is garbage. But over the last year and especially this summer, I've enjoyed all the training content. I've been taking it in. Pause. But I've been taking it in. I've been deep in it. I've been looking at it and like, if these guys stay together, we're number one, baby. Not, I don't even care about two. We're finishing champions, people. Scott here saying we will only sign one replacement if both Kree and Gnonto go. Well, let's go to that. I mean, that was, and let's go back to JT, who said if Kree and Gnonto leave, we'll have to pay premium for replacements. Well, this is where I wanted to go next because Daniel Farke has been speaking about this, and this could go into the section of Daniel Farke. Don't speak too much. Like last season when we was under pressure, and he says he loves the pressure. Well, Daniel, what you're doing at the moment is saying that there are no excuses for failure next season. We've already heard that we are ahead. We have the full preseason and everything else in between. But what he has said is that Leeds United do have contingency plans in place, and there are always players that want to join Leeds United, which I agree with. But let's just say, people, let's just say the worst case scenario happens and we lose Somerville or Gnonto on that last day and we don't get a replacement. What I do not want to hear from Daniel Farke is if we fail this season, well, we lost Somerville on the last day and we didn't replace him. And it was tough for the players. I don't want to hear any of that. There's no excuses this season. There are zero, none. So as long as Leeds United get the business done, what they need to do is they need to do business before they accept the Somerville bid. If that was to happen, they would need to have a deal in place with a club, get that player in, then let Somerville go. You can't do it the other way around, people. We'll get stuck. And like somebody said as well, we'll probably get paid a charge extra because that club knows that we've just gotten a ton of money for either Somerville or Gnonto. Mr. Dodo, shout out to Mr. Dodo. Club should say if you're not gone by the first game of the season, then you're not going. Yeah, I wouldn't say the first game of the season, Mr. Dodo, but it would be nice if we had an internal deadline. But going from again in the last video, I discussed it about Daniel Farke saying we don't have an internal deadline. Finances kind of dictate this at this moment in time. And that is correct though. I've said it all along. We should have an internal deadline saying if you're not gone by this date, you're staying. And it's as simple as that. But obviously, we won't know until the next accounts are out in what kind of situation we're in. But obviously, that is not just the way it's going to be for us. So we're going to have this daily worry. Oh, are they still here? Are they still here? Now, Ren are apparently registering their interest in Somerville as they're about to sell Desiree Doué, who's a baller, absolute baller. I think they're going to get around 51 or 52 million for him from Bayern. Maybe, I don't quote me on that. But if they do get more money, because Ren have made a bit of money this summer, they may go back in for Somerville. So that could be something to look out for going forward in the future. Let's have a look. Okay, Maxi is saying, to be fair, if only one goes, I don't see us getting someone else in. We have players who can play the forward roles in 3-4-3. Personally, can see Krieg going, but Willie staying. Yeah, listen, I've already made my feelings clear about Somerville. He's a difference maker at this level. It's a cheat code having him and Jorginho at this level. It's just not fair. But if he's to go and Gnonto stays, like I've said, I can see it working. I don't think that hinders our top two. Obviously, it makes it just that little bit harder because you're losing a player of that kind of quality. But you moving on Gnonto to the left, Georgie on the right. You've got Aronson in the middle. or Joel Peru. You got Joseph up front. There are still quality options at this football club, people. Dan James is still here too. So there are still quality options here. But that's what I'm saying, Max. If we do lose one and we don't replace them, I don't want to hear the excuse, because we should have been planning better for that, in my opinion. Max H saying Forest Everton gambled on points deduction to stay up and it worked. We should gamble on losing a few extra millions to get promoted. Yeah. And listen, we wouldn't be the first to do that as well. I think Villa did it. Maybe even Leicester did it too. Don't quote me on Leicester, but I'm sure Villa did it too. But yeah, they were promoted. The only thing for us is that we do have that Leedsy gene where we could spend that money and then not get promoted. And then we're like, oh, shucks. 10 points deduction, please. We'll take that one. You know what I mean? So nothing's ever guaranteed with this football club, as we all know. David saying, KG, can you really see Ren splashing out 42 million euros on Cree? No, I don't, David, but crazier things have happened, haven't they? I don't see them spending that. They don't usually spend money like that, which is what gives me just that little bit of ease that with it being Ren. If you're talking like a PSG or someone like that, then it's like, uh-oh. But you never know. Maybe Ren, after losing Enzo Lefebvre, losing Desiree Doué, maybe they're looking to make a statement, and that could appease a lot of the fans. You just never know, people. But I would say it's unlikely. Bobby here saying you have to bring in a replacement. Looks bad on them if we sell our best and most valuable player for 40 million plus and not bring in a replacement. 100%, Bobby. Absolutely agree. Yeah, Rick. Ridsdale did that, didn't end well. Yeah. And look, it's a different era now, different game, different rules, but we were part of that. We were part of the reason why the rules are here, because of that stupid spending we did. But I don't see that happening under the 49ers in terms of overspending. I think Parag, like he said, he'll push it as close to the limit as possible, but we're not going to break the rules in order to try and go up. And we don't need to, people. We've already got Stardust in our team that will still be here after the deadline. I guarantee it. LUFC Scargill saying it's good to see that no one is pushing for a move. I'm sure they would, given a really big offer, but it's nice to see. Yeah. And look, that's something else that I want to make clear as well. If Somerville or Gnonto do decide that they want to explore a reasonable offer that's been sent in that the club deem acceptable, then they should explore it. This is another thing people don't like about me, because I understand it from a player's point of view, but it's about their careers. And Somerville shouldn't be looking at the calendar saying, I've got Plymouth here. He should be looking at the Premier League calendar. He should be looking at European football. That's his level. That's Gnonto's level for me. His technical ability is just superior to the Championship. But yeah, I wouldn't, as long as it doesn't end sour like a Sinistera, I think that's where it's like, oh, what a horrible way to go, threatening legal action, Tyler Adams too. I think that can leave a sour taste. But listen, people, if they're saying that their agents want to explore a reasonable offer that's coming in, which we haven't received yet, there's nothing wrong with that for me. It would be gutting, though, but from a fan point of view, but there's nothing wrong with that for me. Let's have a look here. So yeah, I mean, and also as well, in regards to that, Meslier was speaking as well, which I just want to talk about and kind of roll it into the Daniel Farke thing. Illan Meslier in the article, these are both by Beren Cross, by the way. Both Beren and Graham Smith were the only people that were out in Germany. They're all back now. But just Illan Meslier talking about Leeds United effectively started last season after the first international break. Such was the disarray in the dressing room. And that's what I'm saying. There's no excuses this season. And I'm disappointed, not disappointed, but it does suck that Illan Meslier said that, because for me, they should be looking at the end of the season rather than the first part. It was the end of the season where we fell apart. It would be nice if there was just some accountability there from either Daniel or Illan, but we're not going to get it. So it's cool and we move on. But just to hear about we started our season after the first international break. What about the last international break? What happened then? Or are we just men in blacking that out of our minds? You know what I mean? But he is from the older guard where it's, there wasn't much, as we keep saying now with the language being used, standards. Meslier is part of the old, we'll try our best, gang. So maybe he's going to have a little bit of adjusting with Ampadu and Joseph and all the way that these guys talk. But yeah, there needs to be some accountability from some of these players, right? Rummy saying 110 points, we will get you. Watch. Hey, listen, I'm all for it, man. Rummy, be a lot easier on the match reactions as well to get 110 points. Imagine we got 100 points and didn't go up. What a trophy. NZO saying Creed's been great for us, not pushing for moves in the press, so would be sad to see him go as he's got levels to get better. That's true. He's got way more levels to reach. Totally understand him wanting to play Prem though. Yeah, it's just the career people. You know, you've seen recently Archie Gray and you know the discourse that was going around about Archie Gray, the messages I was getting for 49ers are forcing him out. And Archie Gray, and listen, he's not going to be at Tottenham now and say, "Well, I was kidnapped, thrown in a van, and now I've got to play for Spurs." But you could tell he wanted the move. That's why him and his agent would have agreed that clause in his contract to say, if Leeds don't go up, I want to go to the Premier League. And they knew they had the interest there, so it was going to happen. And he's landed at a very good spot. And listen, the Tottenham fans that I know are making me sick. They can't stop talking about his ability. He's playing at centre back for him at the minute, and just the way that he's using the ball is impressing them by the game. But we knew that with Archie, and I knew that was going to happen this season. That's why it would have been nice for him to stay, because I think he would have got goals and assists this season. But now he's at Tottenham, where he'll probably do the same if he's given a midfield role. Michael here saying the Welsh boys hangover did us in. See, I don't buy that either, Michael, because Ipswich also had 4 or 5 Welsh people in their team. That's what I'm saying. There's no excuses for what happened at the end of last season. We were all playing from an even deck. You know, apart from a couple of our players in Jorginho that was injured quite clearly, other players are form. But Leicester and Ipswich were the same. They had international players coming back. And like I say, with Ipswich in particular, they also have 4 or 5 Welsh players. So for me, that's not an excuse either. The whole squad just fell apart. Let's be real with it. You know what I mean? Max here saying we're going invincible gold championship trophy. That would be nice, Max. I don't know if Leeds will ever do something like that. Probably not in our lifetimes anyway. But I just, you know what it is, people. When I look at this team, when I look at the squad, and I do believe Daniel Farke has learned from his mistakes. Obviously, the proof will be in the pudding come the real season when it starts, not just the friendlies. But I just feel that we have got everything in place to go up this season. And I'm excited for the year. I'm not looking forward to championship football. That will never happen. But I'm looking forward to this league season starting. I'm really excited about this season coming starting, man. Let's have a look. Rummy here saying only excuse we had no midfield cover, but again, that's not true. This is what I'm saying. There are no excuses for the thing. Rummy, last year in that run, we had Ampadu playing centre back. You know what he could have done? Gone into midfield. He could have gone there while Cresswell played at centre back. Or if you're really desperate, Liam Cooper could be thrown in there. We did have Ampadu there. If you wanted to let Jorginho here for a bit, we had Gelhardt there to play. Sorry, there's no excuses, people. This is what I'm saying. You've got to have accountability for the failure that happened towards the end of the season. That's what I'm saying. I just don't feel it's there. And even fans still making excuses, but it's all opinions. But I know what I saw. I know what I saw, and I know what could have been better. No Joseph playing when you were still trying to persist with Bamford. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what it is. You know what I mean. Um, Yeah, and that's why it is as well. I want to move on from last season. The only reason why I've mentioned last season though is because Illan Meslier mentioned it. So, but I'm looking forward. That's the most important thing, people. Parrot House, always supporting, man. Thank you for the super sticker, Parrot House. Much appreciated, my man. Michael is saying Farke wanted to see a balanced approach to playing every 3 days, full use of squad. He only started rotating at Christmas last season. Yeah, he's got to, and I think he'll know that. But like we say, Michael, the proof will be in the pudding. If we are still seeing us 1-0 down for whatever reason, and he doesn't throw on all the attackers until the 86th minute, means he hasn't learned a thing from last season. But I don't know what it is, people. I know he's a stubborn man, but I get the feeling he knows that this is his last kick at Leeds United. He can't get it wrong, people, and I feel like he will get it right. But that's just me at the minute. I don't have outstanding faith in that. I've just got a hunch. You know what I mean? Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Let's have a look. Yeah, Ed in the house. Great to catch you live, coach. Shout out to you, Ed. And yeah, Rick, hopefully you trust the squad more this season. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. And you got to think with players like Ruffwell coming in, Kamara going out, Charlie Creswell finally gone, Verba coming in, who he obviously wanted last season but didn't get to keep. He's back in the fold. Aronson's back in the fold. I do think that he trusts the players more. And even with Gelhardt, if Gelhardt doesn't move, maybe Gelhardt has more of a role to play this year, but off the bench primarily, I don't see Gelhardt pushing ahead of all the riches of attack we have. But maybe he will actually trust him this season, just like we're seeing with Mateo Joseph right now. By the way, all the Mateo Joseph discourse, welcome to the party. You're welcome. Hop aboard. Hop aboard. And Andy saying smash the like. Yeah. And listen, just before we go, people, this isn't really news, but it is one to just keep an eye out on because Hull City obviously they need a goalkeeper. Carl Darlow is number 2 here, which I thought he might be happy with, but they're saying that his future remains unclear. Maybe look out for Hull City to come and move for Carl Darlow because, quite frankly, it's quite obvious. Illan Meslier is a vice captain at the football club. He will be the number 1. Maybe Carl Darlow actually wants to play regularly team football, and he should do as well. I know a lot of you don't believe in Carl Darlow, but I still think at 32 years old, he's still a good goalkeeper at this level, and he shouldn't be sitting on the bench at Leeds United. He should be trying to play first team football, which is what I thought he was going to do when he came here, and he just came and sat down, man. So maybe it is something to look out for, maybe not, but maybe we get to clear Carl Darlow off the wages as well if Hull City do make a bid at some point. Yeah, Richard. Yeah, Ruffell's been good. Yeah, he's been everything that's been as advertised. Richard, and this is what I'm saying, and it goes back. I mean, if you remember when Joe Ruffell signed, so many people talking about, he's a Bournemouth, no reject. No one wants him. He was on the bench at Southampton last season. It's like that doesn't mean anything, people. And I said it at the start. You get Joe Ruffell in over Glenn Kamara, he's going to do more than Glenn Kamara, and it's not hard. I know what people are saying, but Kamara, for all his good points, he doesn't do the things that we've seen from Joe Ruffell at the moment in preseason. Not even close. Just a quick release of the ball, long range passing, set pieces. Yeah, we've upgraded there, and it was a nothing loan because Bournemouth don't care whether he plays or not. They just wanted him out the club and his wages off the books. Yeah. Baby Bremner saying, "Don't think we'll choke this time around. More experience and a settled preseason. All looks positive to me." Exactly. That's how it feels at the minute. But of course, with a month left of the transfer window, sometimes you just never know, especially with this football club. All it will take is someone second to last day of the window. Oh, we've decided now to bid for Somerville, and here's some extra money for you. And then we're rushing around trying to find a replacement. Can't do that, people. Please don't do that, Leeds United. Yeah. But listen, that is where we're going to leave the show. Once again, thank you to Parrot House for that. Please like the video before you go. If there's any other updates, of course, I'll be back. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, and people, I will see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Peace out.